In my opinion, the 10th anniversary has been going really strong so far. There has been a little bit of downsides, but for the most part, there's been tons of characters, content, and everything like that. So it may surprise you guys that part 3 of the 10th anniversary is dropping in about 2 days, right? The 20th or 21st, depending on your time zone, will be when part 3 of the anniversary starts. Now, to a lot of people, again, I feel like this could be a surprise because the part 2 alerts technically just came out. But you gotta remember, this is not when part 2 started, even though it kind of feels like when part 2 started to many people. It's when the Namagoku and Full Power Frieza came out, right? Namagoku came out all the way on February 10th, which coincides with the Porunga wishes that dropped on the 9th, 10th, depending on your time zone. Then right here we see the last set of the Porunga wishes, which will actually be able to make the wishes with Porunga. We don't know what they even look like right now. And as soon as we get those details, I will definitely let y'all know. But this is when part 3 starts, the 20th at 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is pretty much the 21st in most other parts of the world. With that in mind, that means that later tonight, basically the 19th, we should be seeing some in-game event teasers about upcoming content, and very likely we'll be seeing some EZA details, because what's going to happen is we're going to have the data download for this week, and then the EZAs might not drop exactly when the third part of the anniversary starts, but like a day or two after. So that's when we should be seeing the character details for whatever the part 3 EZAs are going to be, because, you know, they're not going to wait like 5 days before dropping them, at least in my opinion anyways. Even though we did technically just get these guys, like if we get the EZAs on like the 22nd, 23rd, that is basically about 5 days from the last time, so not really the biggest, you know, deal in the world. Oh, this is not this guy. He already got his EZA. I think it's gonna be the year 7 LRs. I think they're just gonna go ahead and throw these two out. The LR Gods and the LR Super Saiyan 4s. These are the characters that people have been waiting for all anniversary. And these are the characters people are like, okay, there may have been a little bit of fumbles with some of these EZs, depending on how much you like the character or don't. But these characters, I think, are going to be the ones where it's like, okay, they really shouldn't or can't fumble these. I think they will go safe with these characters just because of how excited people are with these guys. We'll have to wait and see, of course. I did make kit concepts, which is what we're going to be talking about here. Now, Grade A Vegeta and Kaioken Goku, they could also choose to EZA them here instead, and then give us the Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan Blues like a few days after. I don't know how likely that's going to be. I feel like they might EZA these guys first and then these guys a little later, just because, you know, maybe to start off the third part of the anniversary very strong. These guys coming out, I think that just kind of feels like the vibe to me, if that makes sense, right? Though, you know, like Grade A Vegeta very likely could become a slot 1 character. A lot of people have been talking about the lack of slot 1 characters. Kaioken Goku, maybe he is like really good as well. I think he could be very, very good. But we have to wait and see. Again, we're going to mainly be talking about these today. I did already make concepts for the Kaioken Goku and Grade A Vegeta, like, I don't know, like a few weeks ago. It's on the channel. It's something like, will these LRs EZA or something, right? If you want to see my concepts for them, I did make them. But, again, today we're going to be talking about these characters now. With their kits, I felt like I made them very good. I think they could technically always be better. I mean, I don't want to make the kits like, oh, these guys are a step beyond the entire rest of the game level, like, you know, even greater than the Dokkan Fest LRs that just came out. I don't think that's going to be the thing. So I made them still, like, I think top tier in terms of what I would personally like to see from them. And we'll start off with the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, and we'll talk about what I exactly made the changes for. So if we take a look here, their leader skill, I don't think will change much. I do think that it's very possible they make them 220% leaders, though. I feel like they boosted the category leader skill buffs because these guys are going to EZA, and I think that'd be really nice, you know, giving these characters 220%. Now, keep in mind, the 170% leaders never became 200% leader skill characters, but I think that was a little different because that added a whole new category, right? And the leader skill format is mostly the same for these guys, where it's like, you know, still the 3 categories and the extra buffs to the 2 categories, or, you know, 1, right? Things like that. No, I don't think that they'll get like, you know, oh, HP 200%. I think it'll just be still like 170% to all 3 stats, then make this 50%. And that'd be really good. I mean, this leader skill is actually quite good. And even like the LR gods, this leader skill is actually very good right now. So that'd be really cool, honestly. But I think realistically, they might just do 4 key, call it a day, leave everything else the same, right? Now, for their stacking effects, I think they should just make both of them a 50% stacking effect. These characters are characters that are meant to be used really mostly early on and stack up, you know, build up. I think it'd make the active skills hit a lot harder. And, you know, defensively, I think people want a lot from these characters too. And I kind of did think about that, right? So their old entrance animation, they gave him guard for 1 turn, 1 keeper type key sphere, then 77% stats for 7 turns. I kept a lot of it similar, right? I made the guard for the Super Saiyan 4s, right? Guards all attacks, that's still there. And then 20% damage reduction for 4 turns. So I'm thinking like, okay, 3 turns I think might make the most sense to me. But if it's 4 turns, you could float these characters off and they'll still be like able to stack for that second appearance, if that makes sense, right? And also, you know, I guess 4 for Super Saiyan 4, why not? Then I made the attack and defense to 177% instead of 77%. I mean, if you take a look at here, these guys only have like barely hitting like up to 200%, and they have no multiplicative stats, so that's obviously I think going to change quite a bit. Basic effects, I just gave him key 7 start of turn, 177% attack and defense from 120%. I gave them rainbow orb changing just because I feel like them having rainbow orb changing makes sense for their kit. They get buffs per rainbow key sphere obtained. There's a lot of characters who get things with rainbow key spheres. This guy, and I feel like there's been a lack of like fusion rainbow orb changers during this celebration, right? So it would be really nice to get another one because we have Gotenks and we have the Tech Gogeta, but it doesn't hurt at all to get another orb changer. Maybe even for like the GT Heroes team or, you know, movie heroes, just getting another orb changer there always will be useful in a lot of those setups, right? Especially just because it'll help them get their own passive skills, right? Key 1 per type keys are obtained, and then I give them the high chance to crit. They didn't have that before because, you know, I think it's just nice, right? For every rainbow key sphere obtained, I give them 2 key, and that'll allow them to basically target the rainbow key spheres, so they'll guide towards getting rainbow key spheres over other orbs, kind of like what Tech Cell has. If you take a look here, Tech Cell does get 2 key per rainbow key sphere obtained, and it allows him to guide himself towards getting those rainbow key spheres, which is, you know, why I'm able to get like 3, 4, even sometimes I'm able to get 5 key spheres with that Tech Cell, right? Then what I did here is I kept the chance to crit the same, but I also gave them 7% damage reduction. So let's say if you get 3 rainbow key spheres with this guy, that's 21% reduction plus this. That's about 41% reduction with the guard. And I think that will be very nice, even just for like a turn 1 appearance. When receiving an attack, I also give him a 77% multiplicative defensive buff. And again, the idea is to allow these guys to be able to sit in slot 1 early on in these fights and kind of cover that because, I mean, again, I'm going to make a separate video for this, but there's been a lot of slot 2 characters, right? These 3 are pretty much all slot 2 for the beginning of the fights. This guy, and this guy are pretty much all slot 2 for the beginning of the fight. This guy's like a slot 2, slot 3 character. I mean, the slot 1 characters are like Daima Goku, UI Goku, Beast, right? Just like very similar characters like Broly. I think people want a little more of slot 1 characters in these new really strong teams, right? When attacking with 20 more ki, an additional guaranteed super attack and 77% attack. And then when attacking with 24 ki, or it's a 20 or more, but now when you also attacks with 24, it's another 77% attack and super effective. So again, very similar. I just pretty much gave them 77% multiplicative attack there, so they'll actually be able to do some really good damage. They have the guaranteed additional super attack at 20 ki or more, so they're able to get more of these stacks up, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, will they give them damage reduction in their base? I think that would be pretty cool, honestly, just to pair with the guard, so that, you know, they'll be able to keep stacking more and more. And then the guard reduction only lasts for a specific amount of turns anyway, so it'll still force you to eventually transform into or fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta rather than just kind of stacking forever. And I don't know if that's not really the design of this character, to leave you stacking there forever, especially because, you know, again, these guys lost their guard instantly. And it fixes their issue of turn 3. Where turn 3, they kind of were out there as a little bit of, like, they're kind of fish, right? On turn 3, they could get hurt pretty badly, so now that's not really going to be as much of an issue at all. Again, if anything, maybe this could be 3 turns, but I just kept it 4 turns. It's a concept anyways, right? Then, when we fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, this is where this guy is going to become really good. Oh, I got the super attack effects the same. I don't really think they need to be changed. I mean, if they wanted to go the extra mile, they could make this super attack effect a massive raise as well. But considering that I made the stacking extra, yeah. I also forgot to add the disable enemy action within the turn, but that is there, right? The disables enemy action once within a turn. I also forgot to add it to the Super Saiyan Gods, but that's fine. That's there. I don't feel like typing it out. They have the action disable. I mean, if they maybe imagine they add action disable to the 12 key too. That'd be crazy, but I don't think so. Basic effects: key 7, 377% attack and defense, which is quite high. I mean, the only character that gets that high in terms of stats is like Tekkalar Jiren. 50% damage reduction baseline, 2 keeper type key sphere obtained, super effective against all types, a great chance to crits, guaranteed additional super, and then rainbow orb changing. So I just gave them the sloppy toppy, man. I just went all out with this. Just why not, right? I mean, if you take a look here at their basic effects, they're already doing a lot of this. 2 keeper type keys for obtain, effective, medium chance to crit, high chance of launching additional super. I just made all these greater and just gave them the orb changing and the baseline reduction, right? Maybe it could be just 44% reduction. I think would also be fair and would fit like the Super Saiyan 4 kind of theme. Actually, that sounds better to me. Yeah. I'm gonna nerf them. Whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? They'll be good enough even without that. So, if we take a look here, per rainbow key sphere obtained, key 3, 7% crit, 7% reduction. So again, they're gonna guide towards rainbow key spheres. So if you get them 3 rainbow key spheres, that is going to be what, 65% damage reduction, which is still really good. And you know, even if I kept them at the other 50% mark, then they would be able to hit about like what, 70% range of damage reduction, which, yeah, you know, that's fine. The reason why I feel like, you know, maybe changing that mid video is because I made their chance to counter a 70% chance anyways, so it's not like they really need it too much with a 70% chance to counter super attacks, right? Now, baseline, they have a high chance to counter super attacks, so I feel like they might not touch this, they might touch this. I think it's fair for, like, you know, turn 4, turn 5, potentially like 70% chance to counter. We have units like Janemba, who's starting off at like 50% chance to dodge supers. We have Gotenks, who has like the 50% chance to get the extra defense. So for like an anniversary LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I think giving him a 70% chance to counter is not like out of this world, right? Then 177% defense when receiving an attack, another guaranteed additional super at 20 more key, and then 177% attack when at 24 key or activating the active. I think like I would really like to see just this guy be oppressively good, especially considering he's a turn 4 transformation. They usually like will make it so it's like maybe even the base forms are a little like on the weaker end, but then the transformation like really cooks. And I mean, it's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, guys. I think they're gonna give him just all the stops here, because like even with like Namek, Goku, and Full Power Frieza, it's like these guys, you know, obviously are exciting characters, but I mean, Loki Dokkan just hates Namek Saga, I feel like. I mean, I guess this was the first anniversary character, and he's not like a mega oppressive, but these are the year 7 LRs, man. I think that they'll give him like, you know, the works for sure. So I'm thinking like maybe obviously I probably made these guys stronger than what they're actually gonna look like in game, but at least like a similar kind of design with them, I think is what we want to expect from these anniversary LRs. So next we'll talk about the LR gods, right? And being fair, you know, their kit will be designed somewhat similarly to the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Realistically, the biggest changes I've made is they're kind of more dodge primarily, right? So instead of the 20% damage reduction, they get the 50% chance to dodge for 4 turns here. I think this will allow them to maybe even potentially be stronger early on, depending on the scenario, but it is, again, at the end of the day, like Super Saiyan 4s will tank more consistently while these guys will have to dodge. Pretty much the same thing here with this kit, nothing really crazy. Same thing here, except with instead of the 7% reduction, it's 7% chance to dodge. So get him through Rainbow Key Spheres, that is a 71% chance to dodge. And then with these guys, to get him through Key Spheres, that is the 40-ish% range damage reduction, right? These guys, of course, do still have the guard and made it 4 turns there. So again, their base kits have always been very similar. Same thing here, when you're receiving or evading an attack, 77% defense within a turn. Again, that is once only, of course. And yeah, same thing here with the 20 key additional super attack, 24 key super effective, and they each get 77% extra attack. So I don't really think that their base forms will be too different from each other, actually, just because they're already very similar when they're in normal, right? In fact, if anything, their base forms are quite literally the exact same kit, right? Pre and post Breezy, their base forms are the exact same kit. So with what I gave them, I actually made them stick out or stand out from each other, right? With the dodge versus the damage reduction. Then when you go into Super Saiyan Blue, same super attack effects, very similar, thing with the basic effects. Now, the difference is they have starting up a 70% chance to dodge, compared to when they're pre-ZA, they have a high chance to dodge. Or they have a medium chance to dodge. My bad. I'm kind of stupid, chat. It's been a while since I've actually really looked at their kits. Then when it comes to this section, okay. I actually forgot that their key restriction is lower compared to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So I might actually change this to what this is, actually, because I literally did change it right now. But again, their kit skeleton is basically the same. The 7% chance to dodge per Rainbow Key Sphere. So I mean, they can get to 97% chance to dodge if you get lucky with them. Maybe this should just be a 50% chance to dodge. I think being fair, like a 50% chance to dodge would work. And then when receiving a super attack, they have 50% reduction is what I gave them. Just because why not, right? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has the 70% chance to counter plus his reduction. Give these guys dodge, but then damage reduction, like the reverse, where it's like Gogeta has a nullification against supers and then has the damage reduction normally. This guy has the dodge normally, but then has the damage reduction against supers, right? Is kind of what I'm thinking here. And everything else is the same, so yeah, no. I think if these guys were like this, they would both be very good. I obviously didn't really calculate the exact numbers to see like, oh, how good would these guys be, but I think I just really want their kits to be very compact, very easy to use, and also for them to be slot 1 characters, because I feel like these guys have the potential to be slot 1, right? For sure with how their kit is designed, and same with the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta with this counter. I think they're both, like, when they release, they're both characters you would run in slot 1. Maybe, like, for the gods, you could put Tech God Goku slot 1, but I think making these guys slot 1 would actually make a lot of people very happy. And then, like, you could put them early on, especially, like, slot 1 for this guy, or the Vegeta, or I said, this is the Gogeta. Got chat. Recently, I've just been kind of dumb, I feel like, with some of the things I say. Not like as in like bad information, but more like, oh, I accidentally called this guy Vegito, haha, that kind of dumb. I think that's all I have to say, really. So hopefully, that'll all end up being very good. Hopefully they bought their leader skills. I think, making these guys competitive leaders would just be a nice little touch. We're also gonna get new sprites for them, dude. Ooh, the new sprite animations for these guys will be really sick. They never actually gave these characters new sprite animations, which sucks, but luckily, like, okay, I guess it seems like the actual EZA characters are going to be getting new sprites, and the Super EZAs are going to be the ones that get left in the dust. But at least these guys aren't Super EZAs, so yay, right? And that's also like 30 stones, so, or I guess it's 60 stones with both of these characters, so. Again, really nice start to the third part of the anniversary. We'll see what happens. Let me know what y'all think about these characters' kits, how you would design them. And hopefully we'll see them this week. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention before, and again, I Forgot about this. Keep in mind, they're not going to change the active skill conditions or the transformation conditions. They do not do that with these Zs. I see a lot of people ask about that, but that is not a thing they do. But yeah, okay. Peace out, y'all.